They don't even know the outside world exists. Might as well be living on the fucking moon.
There's all kinds of ghettos in the world.
It's all one ghetto, man. Giant gutter in outer space.
Scene. That is the fucked up thing I ever caught. Ask you something. You're Christian, yeah?
No.
What do you got the cross for in your apartment?
That's a form of meditation.
How's that?
I contemplate living in the garden. The idea of allowing your own crucifixion.
But you're not a Christian, so what do you believe?
I believe that people shouldn't talk about this type of shit at work.
Hold on. 3 months we've been together, I get nothing from you. Today, what we're into now, do me a favor, convert you.
Look, I'd consider myself a realist, all right? But in philosophical terms, I'm what's called a pessimist.
Okay, what's that mean?
Means I'm bad at parties.
Let me tell you, you ain't great outside of parties either.
Human consciousness was a tragic misstep in evolution. We became too self-aware. Nature created an aspect of nature separate from itself. We are creatures that should not exist by natural law.
Well, that sounds god-fucking awful, Rust.
We are things that labor under the illusion of having a self. Accretion of sensory experience and feeling. With total assurance that we are each somebody. When in fact, everybody's nobody.
I wouldn't go around spouting that shit I was you. People around here don't think that way. I don't think that way.
I think the honorable thing for our species to do is deny our programming. Stop. Walk hand in hand into extinction. One last brothers and sisters opting out of the deal.
What's the point of getting...
The real answer is that it's obviously my programming. And I like the Constitution for suicide.
My luck, I picked today to get to know you. In 3 months, I don't hear a word from you, and...
You asked.
Yeah, and now I'm begging you to shut the fuck up.
I get a bad taste in my mouth out here. Like you can smell the psychosphere.
I got an idea. Let's make the car a place of silent reflection.
See, we all got what I call a life trap. There's gene deep certainty that things will be different. That you'll move to another city and meet the people that'll be the friends for the rest of your life. That you'll fall in love and be fulfilled. Fucking fulfilled. And closure. Where the fuck those two fucking empty jars to hold this shitstorm. Fucking nothing's ever fulfilled. Until the very end. And closure. No. Nothing is ever over. This is what I mean when I'm talking about time, death, and futility. Right, there are broader ideas at work, mainly what is owed between us as a society for our mutual benefits. 14 straight hours of staring at DB's knees are the things you think of. You ever done that? You look in their eyes, even in a picture. they're dead or alive, you can still read them. And you know what you see? They welcomed it. Not at first, but right there in the last instant. It's an unmistakable relief. See, because they were afraid, and now they saw for the very first time how easy just let go. And they saw in that last nanosecond, they saw what they were. That you, yourself, this whole big drama, it was never anything but a jerry-rig of presumption and dumb will.
2 people were murdered at the motel last night.
Who made done such a terrible thing?
With YouTube Premium's background play, you can keep watching the hottest music videos, even while texting your hubby. Get YouTube Premium. All YouTube, no interruptions.
And you can just let go. Finally know that you didn't have to hold on so tight. You realized that all your life, not all your love, all your hate, all your memory, all your pain, it was all the same thing. It was all the same dream, a dream that you had.
This place is like somebody's memory of a town. The memory's fading. It's like there was never anything here but jungle.
Stop saying shit like that. It's unprofessional.
Oh, is that what I'm going for here?
I just want you to stop saying odd shit, like you smell a psychosphere or you're in someone's faded memory of a town. Just stop.
Given how long it's taken for me to reconcile my nature, I can't figure I'd forgo it on your account, Marty.
I can be hard to live with. I don't mean to, but I can be critical. And sometimes I think I'm just not good for people. You know, that's not good for them to be around me. You know, I wear them down. You know, they get unhappy.
Yeah, I think the job does that to a lot of guys. Changes you. Some guys just notice, that's all.
Well, I can't say the job made me this way. More like me being this way made me right for the job. And I used to think about it more. You know, you reach a certain age, you know who you are. Now I live in a little room out in the country behind a bar. And there ain't nobody there to stop me. I know who I am. After all these years, there's a victory in that. You know what? What she was spared. Sometimes I feel grateful. Doctor said she didn't feel a thing. When and then somewhere in that blackness, she slipped off into another, deeper kind. Isn't that a beautiful way to go out? As a happy child. The trouble with dying later is you've already grown up. Damage is done. It's too late. You got kids? I think of the hubris. Mistake, dude. yank a soul out of non-existence into this. And to force a life into this thresher. There's my daughter, she spared me the sin. I've seen the finale of thousands of lives. Young. Know that their sensory experience constituted a unique individual with purpose, meaning. So certain that they were more than a biological puppet. Truth wills out, and everybody sees. Once the strings are cut off, all down. Why should I live in history, huh? I don't want to know anything. This is a world where nothing is solved. Someone once told me time is a everything we've ever done or will do, we're gonna do over and over and over again. And that little boy and that little girl, they're gonna be in that room again. And again. And again. There's something wrong with them. They just don't know what it is. Everybody's confession. Everybody wants some cathartic narrative for it. Guilty.
Onto the grossest rug I have. Get a washable bath mat.
All your life. Not all your love, all your hate, all your pain. It was all the same thing. It was all the same dream. A dream that you had inside a locked room. A dream about a person.
It's been over 3 years since the premiere of True Detective, and no other show since has upheld the excellence in storytelling throughout an entire season. Plot points that trap the detective genre in its formulaic proceedings were given a complete overhaul, along with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, who play the two central leads of Russ and Marty. What Nick Pizzolatto crafted here is a genre-defining classic that managed to entertain audiences with an original narrative, flawed characters, and a dark atmosphere this late in the genre. Tackling the complex ideas of humanity's fall from grace and one's connection with the supernatural all hinge on the two experts. They bring out their pessimism and hypocrisy as they connect with society. What Pizzolatto more akin is that the demonic forces in this world shape the desires of the detectives. In my eyes, the main attraction of this story is that we're presented with two men who aren't all good and all bad. They constantly walk the fine lines of morality as they show sparks of heroism and villainy within themselves. Characters such as Tony Soprano, Bobby Tarrant, and Joey Graham, after their comics take on the nature of men during the mid-2000s, making them the most well-written and revered characters of the golden era. True Detective, meanwhile, takes elements from these personalities and applies them to these two deeply wounded central characters. And what Peter Lauter does is explore two central conflicts. The crisis of masculinity, pertaining to Marty's marriage, fatherhood, infidelity, and the crisis of humanity seen through the eyes of Rust's nihilism, depression, obsession, and addiction with the murder case. With Marty, he internalizes the sorrows he has in his life, the adultery he commits, the horrors of his work, and puts on a happy facade, even though he considers himself to be a Christian. There's an inherent sadness that surrounds his character, and that's played excellently by Woody Harrelson, who gives an effective yet understated performance, using subtlety to show the cracks of his wounded persona. Rust has a similar but albeit different circumstance. His daughter was taken away from him. He perceives the world as a realm of endless suffering, and that life is meaningless, plagued with no redeeming qualities. Born from that pain is his nihilism, a philosophical outlook popularized by Friedrich Nietzsche, where one focuses on the meaninglessness of life, and that nothing has intrinsic value, and we're made clear of this in Joe vaccines.
I think human consciousness is a tragic misstep in evolution. We became too self-aware. Nature created an aspect of nature separate from itself. We are creatures that should not exist by natural law.
Where did this outlook come from? With the death of his daughter, his divorce, his time undercover? The first crime scene shows off how the pair approached their work. Marty cares only about the physicality of the murders. He just walks around and takes pictures, following the normal procedures a detective might take, while Rust fully immerses himself in the motives and psyche of the killers. It reflects their personalities. Marty takes things at face value because he just wants to get on with life. He never puts the effort into dealing with his daughters because he wants the least input as possible. Rust has a different attitude about him. His instincts are to question and hypothesize everything he interacts with, especially the ritualistic elements of the first crime scene. The little faith he has in humanity really shines through in his work, as he likens his disdain for humanity with the killer's attitudes. The title sequence alone gives us an essence of the brooding tone, the disturbed characters, and the tortured environments.
We were really lucky because Nick Pizzolatto, the showrunner, has this great, deep, intelligent knowledge of the worlds he's creating. Nick said to us that what he was trying to do was look at the poisoned, broken landscapes of Louisiana and use them as a metaphor for the poisoned, broken characters. People who'd been exploited, people who'd been polluted and used up.
Images that convey internal division, with partial portraits split by the toxic, industrial elements, linger in the viewer's subconscious as they proceed to watch these elements unfold. There's an influence of cosmic horror throughout, a genre popularized by H.P. Lovecraft, which explores the horrors of the unknown, of the madness and evil from other dimensions that we as humans cannot fully comprehend. It's the idea that the ordinary life we take for granted is nothing compared to a reality so abstract and alien that even thinking about it will make a person go insane. To quote the man himself, the basis of all true cosmic horror is violation of the order of nature, and the profoundest violations are always the least concrete and describable. We can observe this idea in the landscapes of Louisiana, as the environmental decay and gradual deterioration seeps its way into the people, culture, and society. Just like the novel Blood Meridian, it feels like the antagonist is a vibe, an age, something infernal in the environment. The Karifiki movie chose wisely to position these characters in hostile surroundings, as if the world is closing in around them, to truly represent nature in a damning way. Rust's bare apartment clearly shows his distance from mortal connection, as his work is everything he has. We get a feeling that his mental health is taking a dip after seeing random hallucinations. They're shown with such abstract qualities that to fully understand them, we need to properly deconstruct Rust's process. The cults, the maze at the end, the decency and people being corrupted by evil, all made the show seem straight out of a Lovecraft story. As the show led up to its finale, many people were obsessing on the small details of the case, which is why many were disappointed to find a stereotypical redneck at the end of the trailer. I thought this was perfect because I was expecting some outwardly supernatural occurrences to take place, but instead, the monster they've been tracking was just a disturbed, troubled man being controlled by other people. And that was the whole point. Even people have the capacity for evil that Lovecraft's monsters do. The term psychosphere is used by Rust early on.
I got a bad taste in my mouth out here. Aluminum, ash. Like you can smell the psychosphere.
This term again originates from the creations of H.P. Lovecraft, which describes the area of collective consciousness where someone's thoughts and feelings are projected, and anyone in the vicinity can access these. This is what Ross thinks compels people to commit savagery. He depicts the psychosphere as being poisonous and widespread, and on some level, he even embraces the darkness. Maybe this is why he sees those cryptic visions, has the ability to read people in a few seconds, and can seemingly taste colours.
This one Daddy couldn't be any stranger.
Are you serious?
He tastes colors.
So, what is synesthesia?
Synesthesia. It's a misalignment of synaptic receptors and triggers. Alkalized colors, certain metallics. It's a type of hypersensitivity.
The slow, almost meditated camera movements help highlight the symbols, pentagrams, and the foul atmosphere that seeps surround the The mysterious occult love to revel in this ambience, while the audience can see the deteriorating effects it has on Marty's family over the course of 8 episodes. The corruption of the daughters, Marty giving into temptations, and Maggie using Ross to feel better about herself, all feels like an unseen force slowly picking apart the idea of unity and happiness, and the cells being constantly tainted over time. The detectives' relationship harkens back to the poem titled Epic of Gilgamesh, a series of fragmented tablets dating back to 2100 BC that chronicles the friendship of Enkidu and Gilgamesh. Being the earliest surviving works of great literature, it created the basis of the dynamic duo archetype, where one figure has to help the other in time of hardship, to gift each other their own qualities, and to work for the betterment of society. Marty can function in the real world. He is simple, direct, and lustful as he's entertained by the simple pleasures of life. He serves as a balancing companion to Rust, who must connect with his world. Rust by himself would just fall into a continuous spiral of depression and alcoholism, but having Marty by his side, he deals with real, physical problems, enables Rust to have somewhat of a clear mindset over the course of the case. It's incredibly satisfying to see his complete arc in the final scene. Marty is succeeding in giving Rust the feeling of becoming not only a great man, but a hero. You might think Marty is a better man in this archetype, but him alone isn't worth telling a story. To highlight the sentiment, Peter Lotter never flinches away from plunging the two detectives into the darkest aspects of human nature. The show had to build the dark as being absolute and unconditional, to bring us, the audience, into the mental state of Rust. He doesn't find happiness in thought of an afterlife. He finds solace that we came from the darkness and will end in darkness, but in that life, we fight for the light. Much has been said of Rust's infamous monologues. They're beautifully expressed, yet undeniably grim in nature.
Someone once told me time is a flat circle. Everything we've ever done or will do, we're gonna do over and over and over again.
Rust believes we are stuck in a continuum that we cannot break out of. He believes it's human nature to do the same thing repeatedly, and that these events aren't as poignant as we think they are. Every murder victim, everyone who suffers from disease or poverty or injury, is doomed to repeat the cycle of their existence. Rust's horror emerges from the awareness of being stuck in a loop, knowing that human existence in the end is hopeless. We think that the world revolves around us, living for a certain identity, but in reality, we're just a species walking towards our extinction. It's this grim understanding that controls the way he holds himself during the interviews. When Marty carries out an act that stimulates his nihilism, Rust says,
What do we do, Rust?
The dialogue between Rust and Marty during the church scene sheds some light on Rust's opinion surrounding religion, on how one's actions are morphed by fictitious beliefs.
It'd be a fucking freak show of murder and debauchery, and you know it.
If the only thing keeping a person decent is the expectation of divine reward, then brother, that person is a piece of shit.
Rust employs similar rhetorical strategies during interrogations, and recognizes religion as a specific tool to be used when necessary.
You got one way out, and it's through the grace of God. You are the man the Lord made you.
Criminal thinks he's given himself over to a larger truth, but it's just another day for us in the interrogation room. As a person who straddles a line between atheism and agnosticism, Ross feels no shame in involving religion as a tactic, because the only larger truth he believes in is nothingness. However, despite Ross' somber mood throughout, he continues to fight for the lives he claims are meaningless. He wants to solve the murders, he wants to stop mothers who kill children, but he still couldn't figure out why he wants this. It's only after the battle with Errol, the swirling vortex of nothingness, and the near-death experience is he able to see the truth. Even with the overwhelming presence of darkness in his world, despite all the pain a soul is subjected to, the light that makes it worthwhile is still there. The show ends with Rust having an epiphany.
I could feel, man. And I knew my daughter waited for me.
He sees the light because, for a moment, he saw the spirit world, where his dead daughter waited for him. He realizes that beyond this world, full of sadistic killers and toxic environments, that there is another dimension, an eternal one, where those people have no power at all, and that place is always worth fighting for. There was no mind-blowing plot twist, because that wasn't the point. We had already gone through the meat of the story with the two detectives, and their interactions with others is what we should have noticed. It's about the revelation of real evil and monsters in our society, about the unseen forces that plague the landscapes of Louisiana. That's where Russ and Marty come in. Two individuals who act as the conduit between the audience and the world Brutality so painstakingly created. The natural development of characters is what drives the plot forward. Their struggles, the insecure feelings in this world, and the fears of failure. These obstacles are brought to the forefront to make Rust and Marty two of the most memorable TV characters in recent memory. There were many reasons why season 2 faltered, but my main issue was the lack of focus between characters. 5 characters that weren't given enough emotional weight led to the season's story threads and overall character arcs coming off as severely underwhelming. Here's hoping that Brutality reins in on creating engaging characters for season 3, while having a sense of uniqueness akin to the ambience created in season 1. What I took away from this show is coming to terms with grief, by fighting through the dark times that lie ahead of us, even for an ounce of happiness. These 8 episodes became a transformative parable for the medium, an introspective tale that will linger in the subconscious of our memories for the years ahead.
Writing those scripts was really like going through the eye of a needle. You know, there was nothing to do but to keep going forward, no matter what. And then to actually have the great fortune of seeing great actors bring these roles to life and to see it realized, I would say absolutely the entire process changed me.
Dust on the airborne. Grab it with Swiffer Sweeper. Thick, heavy-duty cloths trap all kinds of dust, dirt, and hair. On contact. See you, dust. And Swiffer partners with the American Lung Association to support clean air.
Hi, I'm Michael. This is Lessons from the Screenplay. True Detective and Seven share a number of similarities. They both feature an investigation into a disturbing series of murders. They both bring their characters and the audience face to face with some of the worst horrors imaginable. And they both have themes which are ultimately optimistic in nature. So today I want to talk about how these themes